There once was a man from Peru who dreamed he was eating his shoe. He awoke in the night with a terrible fright and found it was perfectly true. Now, if this had been in the daytime when the man from Peru was wide awake, he never would have done such a ridiculous thing as eating his own shoe. He would have taken one look at the shoe and said,
"It looks sort of tough, and it feels that way too. It smells sort of rough. There is leather and glue. You can hear it when walking. I'm talking to you, and that's why you won't catch me eating my shoe." All together, put together.
Of course, your common sense would keep you from eating your shoe. But before your common sense can work, there are 5 other senses that must tell common sense what to do. These 5 senses all are at work letting you know what the world around you is like. There's the sense of sight through your eyes, the sense of sound through your ears, the sense of touch through your skin, the sense of taste through your tongue, and the sense of smell through your nose. Sight, sound, touch, taste, smell. The 5 senses. And these 5 senses are the quickest way of finding out what the world around you is all about.
It looks sort of tough, and it feels that way too. It smells sort of rough. There is leather and glue. You can hear it when walking. I'm talking to you, and that's why you won't catch me eating my shoe. All together, put together every clue. What the 5 senses say to you. It's the quickest way of finding out what the world around you is all about. All together.
For a chocolate cream pie, I can make a good case. It smells quite delicious when kept in its place. But a place where this dish is a perfect disgrace is when someone throws chocolate cream pie in your face.
All together, put together every clue. What the 5 senses say to you. It's the quickest way of finding out what the world around you is all about. All together. Oh, a rose is a rose. Is a rose is a rose. You can see with your eyes. You can smell it with your nose. And a rose is a fine thing for your sense of touch. If you don't mind a thorn in your finger too much. All together, put together every clue. What the 5 senses say to you. It's the quickest way of finding out what the world around you is all about. All together.
If you couldn't see it, if it made no sound, if it couldn't be touched, and no taste could be found, if it made not the tiniest scent in the air, how in the world would you know it was there?
All together, put together every clue. What the 5 senses say to you. It's the quickest way of finding out what the world around you is all about. All together, all together. It's the quickest way of finding out what the world around you is all about.
Here comes a tractor-trailer truck. See it. 3 cars. See them. And from the other direction, a bus, 2 motorcycles, and 4 more cars. The traffic light is green. Now it turns yellow. Now it turns red. The truck stops. The cars stop. The motorcycles stop. The bus stops. Now we can cross the street. Our sense of sight through our eyes showed us that it was safe. What just happened? A lot of things. We saw sizes. The truck and the bus, big. The cars, not so big. The motorcycles, small. We saw shapes. The shape of the truck and the bus and the cars and the motorcycles. We saw them all move toward us. First, we saw them in the distance. Then we saw them move closer and closer, slow down, and stop at the light. We saw far and near. We saw movement. We saw the traffic light. We saw it turn from green to yellow to red. We saw color. In just 1 minute or so, just 1 minute out of a whole day, while we were standing on a busy street corner, think of how many things our eyes showed us. They showed us size. They showed us shape. They showed us objects far and near. They showed us movement. They showed us color. And that's what they do all day long, every minute of every day, from the time we wake up until we go to bed at night, turn out the light, and close our eyes.
When it's dark, it's hard to see. I can't see you, you can't see me. Though I know that you are there, I honestly do not know where. Things that go pop in the light turn out alright when there is light.
The eye is a color TV camera with automatic focus. When we dolly back and forth, it does its hocus pocus.
The eye is a color TV camera with variable range. The eye knows just what it must do when light or distance change. When there is not light enough, everything is blind man's luck. Red and green look both the same. I'm not too good at this game. The eye is a color TV camera with variable range. The eye knows just what it must do when light or distance change. When there is not light enough, everything is blind man's buff. Red and green look both the same. I'm not too good at this game. How slow and careful and how solemn you pinned the tail right on Bartholomew.
Your eyes may stop working in the dark, but your ears don't. You can hear a jet plane flying over your house just as clearly in the middle of the night as in the middle of the afternoon. And without looking up at the sky, you can tell whether it's a jet or a helicopter. Even though there isn't any difference between the way a thing sounds in the day or in the night, sometimes there seems to be. The sound of the wind moaning in the trees isn't at all frightening on a sunny day in March. But hearing the same sound late that night Makes you want to cover your ears to shut it out. There's probably nobody who likes the sound of thunder, but they like it a lot less at night. Strangely, at night, the thunder seems louder. Frightening as they can be, sounds give great pleasure, too. The sound of music is one of our greatest joys. An orchestra, a circus band, a chorus of voices singing Jingle Bells, or a singer with a banjo tapping his foot and singing, "On the big rock candy mountain, the cops have wooden legs, the bulldogs all have rubber teeth, and the hens lay soft-boiled eggs." There are funny sounds. Snoring is one. So is the honking of a goose or the snorting of a pig. There are sad sounds like the wailing of an ambulance. There are sounds you don't want to hear. Your mother saying no is a sound you don't want to hear. No is a word, and a word makes a sound. Maybe you never thought of a word as a sound, but words were sounds long before they ever were written down as letters on paper. When we talk to each other in words, we are talking to each other in sounds, and talking to each other is pretty important.
Listen, you will hear music playing in your ear. Lots of things that I could mention happen if you pay attention. Wind that whispers through the trees, buzzing of the bumblebees, catch me howling out of tune. Dog who's playing at the moon.
Overhead I hear a jet going somewhere far, I bet. Where he's headed, can you tell? If you listen very well.
Hear the thunder and the rain, the whistle of the railroad train, sounds that happen every day.
Saying things in their own way. Saying things in their own way. If you listen, you will hear music playing in your ear. Lots of things that I could mention happen if you pay attention. Wind that whispers through the trees, buzzing of the bumblebees, catch me howling out of tune. Dog who's playing on the moon.
Overhead I hear a jet
Going somewhere far, I bet. Where he's headed, can you tell? If you listen very well.
Hear the thunder and the rain, the whistle of the railroad train, sounds that happen every day.
Saying things in their own way. Saying things in their own way.
Listen,
If you will listen.
if you listen,
their own way.
if you listen,
You will listen.
if you listen.
If you didn't have a sense of touch, you wouldn't laugh when someone tickled you. You wouldn't feel the coolness of the water when you went swimming. And you'd never know what the soft fur of a kitten was really like. If you didn't have a sense of touch, you'd never pull your hand away from a hot stove. You'd go into a shoe store and buy a pair of shoes that were too tight because you couldn't feel them pinch your feet. You'd go picking blackberries and get all scratched up from the brambles, and the scratches wouldn't hurt at all. That would be a good thing, wouldn't it? To never hurt at all. To never feel pain. Or would it? If you kept your hand on the hot stove, you'd get a terrible burn. It's the pain that tells you to pull your hand away before you do. The tight shoes might not pinch, but they'd still keep your feet from growing the way they should. Being covered with scratches from blackberry brambles isn't good for your body, whether the scratches hurt or not. So in a way, pain is a good thing. Pain is to protect you. Pain is to warn you. Pain is an important part of the sense of touch. We seldom think about how much we like to touch things until we go into a museum or a toy store and there are signs all around that say, "Please do not touch." And that's exactly what we want to do. Touch everything. Touching and feeling are a lot of fun, especially in the fall on a big pile of dry leaves, or when you have a warm puppy to pet.
Your hair is soft, your nose is cold.
I think you are not very old.
I feel your tongue upon my face. I'm sure I know you any place.
You must be who I heard before.
Gently scratching on the door.
You're built so low, slung to the ground. I think you are the fastest hound.
Your hair is soft, your nose is cold.
I think you are not very old.
I feel your tongue upon my face. I'm sure I know you any place.
You must be who I heard before.
Gently scratching on the door.
You're built so low, slung to the ground. I think you are a fastest hound.
They tell the story of King Midas, who thought gold the most precious thing that one could own, until he was granted as a gift the power to turn anything he touched into gold. That's when he found out that gold is nothing more than yellow metal. He couldn't eat it when he was hungry. For every hamburger, every French fried potato turned to gold the moment he touched it. Precious? A solid gold piece of candy when your mouth is watering for chocolate? And what would you rather have when you're hot and dry and perspired and parched? A cold drink or a gold drink? The story ends with Midas being granted an even better gift, having the magic power taken away so he could eat a piece of chocolate again and drink a glass of cold lemonade. And not just eat the candy and drink the lemonade, but taste them. The sense of taste, a gift, a precious one. Suppose you had oatmeal for breakfast today and oatmeal for lunch and oatmeal again for dinner. And all there was in the pantry was oatmeal. And you had oatmeal again for breakfast and lunch and dinner tomorrow. And all you had to eat every day for the rest of your life was oatmeal, oatmeal, oatmeal. And suppose all the food you ever ate tasted just like oatmeal. Well, aren't you glad it doesn't? That because your sense of taste, a hot dog tastes like a hot dog, and peanut butter tastes like peanut butter, and strawberry ice cream tastes like strawberry ice cream. Makes you kind of glad to get hungry.
Got to have a pizza pie, mushroom sausage piling high.
Keep it coming, can't you see? The hungries have got hold of me. Oh, the hungries have got hold of me. Oh, the hungries have got hold of me.
Hungry.
Hungry
dances violin high.
Keep it coming, can't you see? The hungries have got hold of me. Oh, the hungries have got hold of me. Oh, the hungries have got hold of me. Hungry. Got to have some egg bouillon or chop suey on my tongue. Peanut butter, cracker jacks, piles of pancakes in some snacks. Oh, the hungries have got hold of me. Oh, the hungries have got hold of me. Hungry.
Tasting and smelling go together like bread and butter. Part of the fun of tasting is smelling what you eat. Smelling the Thanksgiving turkey roasting in the oven makes you hungry long before you get to eat it. So does the smell of bacon sizzling in the pan, or the smell of a thick steak broiling crunchy brown and juicy pink over an open fire. Smelling is a funny word. Your dog smells a skunk. He smells it with his nose. He chases the skunk. Soon he comes back. Now the dog smells all over. You smell garbage because the garbage smells. But garbage can't smell. It doesn't have a nose. That's why smell is a funny word. It has two different meanings. One is for smelling the smell, and the other is for making the smell. If a person doesn't take a bath, you smell that he smells. Smelling isn't one of our more important senses, but it can be useful. If you wake up in the night and smell smoke in the house, you know there's a fire and you get out of there fast. If food has been kept too long, it can spoil. But how do you know how long is too long? By smelling. You surely don't want to taste it. And when you smell gas in the kitchen, your sense of smell warns you that there's something wrong with the stove. Most animals have a much better sense of smell than we do. But with all the air pollution today, factory smoke and car exhaust and all kinds of other bad smells, we're probably better off the way we are. Nowadays, a good sense of smell is a good thing not to have.
What you cannot tell so very well because it's dark in here. What you cannot touch so very much or determine with your ear. What you do not know when meeting it, you'd be very foolish eating it. But what I'd suggest as the way that's best to tell is to smell with your nose. You can easily identify a rose.
With your snus, you can tell exactly where the onion was.
And if you learn to take an educated whiff, and if you crinkle up your nose and take a sniff, you'll find out a good deal more than you suppose. With your nose. With your nose, there is something in the wind when she blows.
With your smell, there are certain little things that you can tell.
And when you close your eyes as tightly as you can, why then you know if you should come that way again.
sight, sound, touch, taste, smell. The 5 senses. The quickest way of finding out what the world around you is all about. Not only the quickest way, the only way.
All together, put together every clue. What the 5 senses say to you. It's the quickest way of finding out what the world around you is all about. All together.
For a chocolate cream pie, I can make a good case. It smells quite delicious when kept in its place. But a place where this dish is a perfect disgrace is when someone throws chocolate cream pie in your face.
All together, put together every clue. What the 5 senses say to you. It's the quickest way of finding out what the world around you is all about. All together.
Oh, a rose is a rose. Is a rose is a rose. You can see it with your eyes. You can smell it with your nose. And a rose is a fine thing for your sense of touch. If you don't mind a thorn in your finger too much.
All together, put together every clue. What the 5 senses say to you. It's the quickest way of finding out what the world around you is all about. All together.
If you couldn't see it, if it made no sound, if it couldn't be touched, and no taste could be found, if it made not the tiniest scent in the air, how in the world would you know it was there?
All together, put together every clue. What the 5 senses say to you. It's the quickest way of finding out what the world around you is all about. All together, all together. It's the quickest way of finding out what the world around